Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about my favorite topic, which is psychology. As some of you know, I'm studying psychology at university at the moment, and I'm getting my master's degree in it. And sometimes people ask me, why do you need it? Why are you learning it? And this question is a little bit surprising for me. Not only is psychology interesting for me itself, but I also believe that it is important for an English teacher and for any teacher to know it well, and also to take some information from this field, from this science, or from this art. I don't know, what is psychology for you? A science or an art? You can write a comment and tell me your opinion about this. And in general, if this topic is interesting for you, if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. It will be very pleasant for me. All right, so today I'm going to talk about 5 things that are similar or that are almost the same in English teaching and in psychology, or with working with clients. I mean, I want to find something similar in how a therapist works with their clients and how English teacher works with their students. And I think there are lots of things that they have in common that are similar, but I will talk about 5 of them today. And the first thing is setting. What is setting? It is about everything that is around us. We can start with very simple things like the internet connection, or how we can hear each other, or if our cameras work and if we can see each other well. But not only these technical things. It's also important to mention our borders, like lines between us, and our contract, like things that we can do and things that we can't do. Usually we discuss these things at our first lesson. Why are they important? I believe that it is crucial, it's very important for a student to feel safe at the lessons. And to feel safe, you need to have this calm and comfortable atmosphere. And I think that the easiest way to create this atmosphere is to know what you can and what you can't do. For example, we decide that we will have, let's say, 2 lessons a week. It means that on this day, when we have a lesson, at this time, I'll be waiting for you in our Zoom conference, and 5 minutes before the lesson, I will send you a message with a link. It means that I will organize my life in that way that nothing can stop me from having a lesson with you. I'll do my best not to forget about the lesson, not to have a situation when I'm not near my laptop or I don't have an internet connection and something like that. Of course, everything can happen, but I'll do everything to prevent it, to stop it from happening. And I think that when a person knows that at this particular time, at this specific time, somebody is waiting for him or her, it gives you the feeling of safety and the feeling of support. When you know that nothing matters. It doesn't matter if you did your homework. It doesn't matter if you followed my recommendations what to do between the lessons. It doesn't matter if, I don't know, if you are not active today enough or you don't have a good mood, nothing matters. You know that at this time I'll be waiting for you, and it motivates you. It gives you this energy to stop doing other things and to start learning English and to have a lesson, right? I can compare it to a therapist that works with their clients, and because I think that the first time when I realized that was when I worked with my therapist, and she told me something like, you know, no matter what happens, every week I'm waiting for you at the same time. And after that, I started thinking about it, and I thought about some teachers from the school I work for, teachers who can cancel classes or who can change the time of classes very often. And I understand it's not a very good thing for a student. So I try not to cancel our lessons and not to change the time unless it is a really necessary situation. But usually I try to plan everything in advance, and I try to tell you 1 or 2 weeks before that, for example, I'm going to have a holiday or I'm going to have my exams at university, so that you know in advance, you know beforehand that we will have our lessons at a different time. But I try to do it very rarely, as seldom as possible, okay? So this was setting. And the second thing that I think is very important is the rapport. Rapport is the connection between us, the connection between a teacher and a student. I think that it's important because a teacher isn't just a source of information, isn't just somebody who gives you information like a course book or like a video on YouTube. Because why do you need a teacher who just tells you things that you can find for free online and I don't know, listen to them many times? I think the most important in having lessons with a teacher is our communication, which is real and which is alive. So when you communicate with another person, it's important to know that you can be authentic, you can be yourself. You don't need to pretend, you don't need to think how to say things differently. You can just share what is inside of you, and I'll be there to understand and to support you. For example, if you are sad and you don't want to, I don't know, discuss some topics that are not interesting for you at the moment, but you want to share the reason of your sadness and talk about that, I can support you. And I'm trying to be a person who it's easy to be open with. So I'm trying to understand everything that my students want to discuss with me. And it's really important for me to have this rapport. The third thing is connected to what I was talking about. This is the idea that comes from Gestalt therapy. This is the idea of a figure and the ground. I will explain a little bit. The figure is something that is important for you at the moment, something that you are thinking about at the moment. And as they say, your energy is where this figure is. So For example, if you work with a therapist and you start talking about something that is important for you today, you show this energy. Yeah, the therapist can see when you start talking about these things, you are more active, you are more involved, you are more connected. But if the therapist says, okay, stop, yeah, I understand it's important for you today, but we are here to talk about other things, because when you came to me, you said that you wanted to talk about I don't know, other things. So let's talk about other things. And it's not correct, yeah, because if something is important for you right now, it's a good idea to talk about it, to talk about things, about this place where where your energy is. So everything else, all other things, are the background. Yeah, in English, in this theory, it is called the ground. So everything is on the ground, and these things are not so important at the moment, but they can be important later. So they are just there on the background, okay? When it comes to English lessons, I prepare for every lesson, of course, and I have some material that I'm planning to do with my student today. Anyway, I'm trying to start the lesson with a little warm-up, so with a little conversation to see in what state my student is, how they feel, what is in their mind, what is on their mind today. And when I see that there are things that are interesting for my students to talk about right now, I believe that it's not a good idea to interrupt a person, to say, okay, stop, and to start working according to the plan. So to say, okay, stop, we won't talk about it right now, let's do the exercises. Of course, if you work with a group of students, it can be a little bit different, because you can't always find something interesting for all people in the group. And maybe it's not a good idea, because this is an English lesson, so they go according to the plan. So yeah, if you work in a group, I can also see which things are interesting today for the group, and we can talk a little bit for that. But especially if we work one-to-one, it is important for me to follow the energy of my student. I do believe that it's important because this is a real situation of communication. And I don't think it's a good idea just to say, okay, you want to talk about your pet today, your cat or dog, but it's not the topic of our lesson. The topic of our lesson is the weather. So this is a list of words that we need to learn today. Let's read these words and do the exercises. No, if the weather isn't interesting for my student right now, I believe that the student can't remember all this information so well as the information about something that is interesting. So if it is interesting to talk about something else, this is a unique opportunity for me to hear which words my student needs in real life when he or she talks about these things. I can give them these words, and I can write down these words for myself to recall them, like to review them next time, and to come back to them because I saw that these words were important, you know. So that's why I always try to follow the student and to see what is important for them to discuss before we start working with the material of the lesson. Of course, this moment comes, and at some point when I see that we have discussed enough, I can stop the student and we can start talking about the material, about some grammar structures or about some lexical units. But in general, I try to connect everything together to be sure that things that we do are connected to a real world, a real life of my students. All right, thing number 4. This is something from another part of psychology called transactional analysis that I learned a few years ago. And the most important idea that I want to share with you today is that when we operate in our life, when we act, we can do that from 3 different ego states. So 3 different parts of us. And there are 3 parts according to transactional analysis. There are 3 parts that we can use. This is a parent. So it's a part of us that is responsible for rules, for how things should be done, for different restrictions and so on. An adult, this is a part of us that is connected to here and now. And this part reacts based on what is happening at the moment. And the 3rd part is a child. So this is our childish part, which likes to play, which is more dependent, which means that this part is more like a real child inside of us, our inner child. Yeah. And what I wanted to tell you, what is connected to English lessons, is that when as some of you know, I work as a director of studies for an English school, and sometimes I have to observe other teachers' classes, which means that I have to watch how other teachers conduct their lessons. And what I see is that sometimes, there are some conflict situations. Well, we are all humans. Yeah, we can have situations when one person wants one thing, another person wants another thing. And what I can see is that some teachers start to act from their parent part or from their childish part. So if you act from your parent part, you can, when your student tells you, for example, I don't want to do this exercise, and you start to be like a strict mother or father, and you say something like, you must do that. This is our program. I can't change it, so I don't care if you want to do it or not. And they say things that don't make sense, and they don't explain them. For example, they say, if you don't do your homework, you will never learn English. Yeah, sounds very strict, right? Very confident, but it's not true. And usually, students usually don't ask questions. Yeah, when they hear it from the teacher, they think, okay, oh my God, but I don't want to do my homework, so it means I will never learn English. All right, okay, so that's my destiny, that's my bad luck, I'm a bad student. Okay, let's forget about English and about my dreams and everything. No, it shouldn't be like that. And I think that this is why it's not a very good idea to act from a parent ego state. It's not a very good idea either to act from a child ego state, yeah, from childish ego state, because then your behavior, like if a teacher acts like a child, for example, a student says, oh, I don't want to do my homework, and a teacher feels offended. For example, a teacher says, okay, and I prepare for the lessons, I check exercises that you send to me, or I find some information for you, and you don't want to do your homework. This is how you respect me. This is how you treat me. It's not very adequate either, right? Well, at least I don't think that this is how a professional should respond to such situations. So that's why the fourth thing that we can take from psychology is that we need to stay in our mature state, in our adult ego state, and to react professionally, not to take everything personally. Because when your student tells you something that they don't want to do, or that they don't understand, or that it shouldn't make you feel that way. Yes, you just need to deal with it in an efficient way, like to think what is the best way to solve this problem. If it's a problem, maybe it's not a problem. So you need to, first of all, you need to understand, you need to estimate whether it is a problem or not. Yes, and then you need to decide what to do. And you need to do it as an adult, right? Okay, and the fifth and the last thing for today that I'm going to talk about is our feelings. That's how teachers feel during the lesson. I want to share my personal experience with you because I think that it's interesting. Even for me, I don't know how it works, but it's really interesting for me to understand it. This is a little bit different from how therapists work, from how psychologists work, because many psychologists, when they work with their clients, they have feelings. Yes, they feel something and they use their feelings to understand some things better. But when I am adolescent as a teacher, of course I have feelings, like I can be happy when my student makes progress. I'm always happy, like I'm excited, I admire people when they suddenly say something correctly that they said in the wrong way many times. So I'm always happy when I hear that. But at the same time, I don't usually have, strong negative emotions, no matter what we discuss. I can give you an example. There are some topics, I think for every person, there are topics that you don't like, that you have your strong personal opinion about. And when somebody says a different opinion or an opposite opinion, when somebody says something that you don't agree with, it makes you angry and you want to debate. Yes, you want to argue. You want to say, no, you are wrong. It's not like that. Of course, I have these topics too. And in real life, when I talk to people, no matter if these people are close to me or they are strangers, people who I don't know, when they say something that I don't agree with, especially if it's connected to these controversial, these hot topics, I can get very angry, I can start arguing with these people. I can say, no, how don't you understand this? It's not like that. You're wrong. And I start to give some facts that I know, like my personal opinion about this, and like it's just difficult for me to be silent, and to say nothing about that. But when it happens at the lesson, and when my student says something that I don't agree with, I notice that I don't really care. I mean, I don't feel angry. I don't feel offended. For me, it's just interesting that this person has a different opinion. It's interesting to hear what words this person uses when they speak about these things, like what grammar structures, how I can help them to say it better. But I don't feel offended. I don't feel angry. And it doesn't matter because, like, I think, okay, my role here is different. I'm not Masha. I'm not just a woman who has her opinion. I'm a teacher. It's different. As a teacher, I can't get angry at you because you think differently than what I believe in. Like, when I'm a teacher, when I'm in this role, I well, I never feel negative emotions, let's say like that. And I remember sometimes even when I supervised other teachers, when I worked as a director of studies at school, and for example, I told an American guy, like American teacher, like, why did you have an argument with your student at the lesson? And he said, oh, he said awful things about your country, about like a political situation or something like that. And for me, it was unusual because, like, yeah, but we are not friends who discuss politics. If you think that these topics are not appropriate, these topics are not good to talk about, to discuss in the classroom, you can just say, okay, all right, like, you have your rights to think like that, but we won't talk about it right now, we won't discuss it. That's it. I think this is the only way you can react, unless you want to talk about it, and unless you feel comfortable and okay to discuss these things with your students. For me, all the topics are okay. Like, I can discuss everything, and I don't care if a person has a different opinion or not. I mean, I don't have any negative emotions in this case. So I think that it's an important thing because it gives different people an opportunity to talk about different things with me and to feel safe and to feel understood. So I do believe that it's necessary and that it's important. And I think that's all for today. If this topic is interesting, let me know, and maybe I will talk a little bit more about it because I love psychology and everything that is connected to it. But I also recommend you to watch other English videos on YouTube, and there are lots of them, lots of interesting content in English. And we are lucky because we can find a lot of them, a lot of these videos, and watch them for free on YouTube. So good luck and see you at the lessons. See you, bye bye.